Welcome to LinuxConfig.org channel, where we make Linux simple and accessible for everyone. In today's tutorial, we're configuring a static IP address on Ubuntu using Netplan. A static IP ensures your system always has the same network address, essential for servers, remote access, or any network service that needs to be reliably reachable. We'll walk through the process step by step, from identifying your network interface to editing the configuration and verifying everything works. Let's get started. Open up a terminal and run the IPA command to identify your network interface. As you can see in the output, we have two interfaces here. The first one is the loopback interface, which we can ignore. The second one is ENS18. This is our actual network interface that we'll be configuring. Notice it currently has a dynamic IP address of 172.16.1.131 assigned by DHCP. Make a note of your interface name, as you'll need it in the next steps. In your case, it might be called ENS18, ENP0S3, or ETO0, depending on your system. Next, we need to identify which Netplan configuration file controls our network interface. Run ls, la, etc. netplan to list all configuration files. Here we can see two files. The first one is O1 Network Manager, all file. This file is present because we're on a desktop installation. It sets Network Manager as the default renderer, which allows users to manage network connections via the graphical interface in system settings. The second file is 50 cloud init file, and this is the file that actually configures our ENS18 interface. Netplan processes these files in alphabetical order, so the 50 file takes precedence for our specific interface configuration. On a server installation, you typically would only see the 50 file without the Network Manager configuration. Let's check what's currently in this file. As you can see, it's a very simple configuration. We have the network section with version 2, then the Ethernet section, and our ENS18 interface. Right now, DHCP4 is set to true, which means the interface is getting its IP address automatically from a DHCP server. We're going to change this to a static IP configuration. Before we edit the file, let's verify which system is actually managing this interface. Here we can see the general connection shows Netplan ENS18. This confirms that our ENS18 interface is managed by Netplan configuration files, not directly by Network Manager. This is exactly what we want, so we can proceed with editing the configuration file. Now, let's open up the configuration file with Nano. Remove the existing content and enter the following configuration. We're setting the network version to 2, defining our Ethernet section, and configuring the ENS18 interface. First, we disable DHCP by setting DHCP4 to false. Then we specify our static IP address, 172.16.1.2040 with a 24 subnet mask. Next, we define the default route through our gateway at 172.16.1.1. And finally, we add our DNS name servers, in this case Google's DNS, at 8.8.8.8 and 8.8.4.4. Make sure to replace these values with your own network settings. Pay attention to the indentation. YAML is very strict about spacing. Use 2 spaces for each level, Never use tabs. Once you've entered everything, save the file with Ctrl+O, press Enter, and exit with Ctrl+X. Before applying our changes, we need to secure the file permissions. Netplan configuration files can contain sensitive network information, so they should only be readable by root. This command sets the permissions to 600 on all Netplan files, meaning only the root user can read and write to them. Netplan will actually warn you if the permissions are too open. So this is an important security step. Now it's time to apply our configuration. This command will activate the new network settings immediately. Netplan will read our configuration file, validate it, and apply the static IP address to the ENS18 interface. If there are any syntax errors, Netplan Apply will report them, so you can go back and fix them. In our case, everything applied successfully without any errors. Let's verify that our static IP has been applied correctly. Looking at the ENS18 interface, we can now see our new static IP address, 172.16.1.2140, with the 24 subnet. Notice it says valid.ylft forever and prefer.ylft forever, which confirms this is a permanent static IP, not a temporary DHCP lease. Our configuration has been successfully applied. We pinged an external address at 1.1.1.1. Perfect, zero packet loss. Our static IP is now configured and will persist across reboots. If you found this helpful, please subscribe and check the written guide in the description. Thanks for watching.